What's up everybody, Jared here with carbuzz.com, and today I am out in Austin, Texas, bringing you a first look at a brand new Toyota vehicle. For the first time in nearly half a century, the Toyota Crown is returning to the US market, but not how you remember it. This is the all-new 2023 Toyota Crown, and as you can clearly see, this is not your typical sedan. It comes with a slightly raised ride height, making it a little bit more like a crossover, but here in the back you have a traditional sedan trunk. So this is definitely a unique body style here in the United States. In fact, the only modern vehicle that I can think of that's even similar to this is the Volvo S60 Cross Country, which they no longer sell in the United States. So this white one that we are taking a look at is the middle limited trim. There is also a platinum trim, that's the highest one, and there is a base XLE model. You can see the platinum over there finished in that really interesting two-tone red, but I think it honestly looks better in this solid color on this limited trim, and I happen to like the sort of more normal wheels that you get here. Now you can get 19s, 20s, or 21-inch wheels on this new Crown. These are, I believe these are the 20-inch wheels, but you can also get the no, these are 21s, but they are the more conventional of the 21-inch wheels. If we go ahead and just peek here over at this platinum model, this is kind of the more wacky one. This almost looks like an aftermarket wheel to me. Very interesting with those little blades on the spokes there. But we have this white color, we have this black lower front end here. Makes it almost look like an electric car. I see a little bit of BZ4X in the headlight there. I really like how this car looks in the front. It's very premium, and it looks very interesting when finished in that red two-tone option. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at that red two-tone option over here, because I think it's just so unique. As we move over to the front here, look at that. Very interesting styling. This is unlike Toyota has ever done before. Now, you do get a Toyota badge up here. In some other markets, you're gonna get a Crown badge instead. It's kind of interesting that Toyota chose not to give this the Crown badge here in the United States. Now, we have this interesting side panel here. It's just kind of this big black element here on the doors. We do have some cladding as well. This is made from like a plastic. This is not painted. It's kind of to give the Crown that lifted sort of off-roady look that you get from a lot of SUVs. And then back here we have Crown spelled out real big on the trunk. We have the model designation, this being the limited as well, and some more of that kind of black finish here with some very long horizontal tail lights here as well. No visible exhaust pipe. It's going to be hidden under there. We'll talk a little bit more about the Crown's drivetrains, which are all hybrid. So now I'm going to go ahead and get in. This is a pre-production model, so I'm not expecting a lot of the stuff in here to work all that well, but this is technically replacing the Toyota Avalon. This is actually a little bit nicer inside, I think, than the Avalon. We've got full leather interior here. We've got some really nice bronze piping here on these black seats, which I think looks really cool. We have a little bit more bronze here on the steering wheel. Let's go ahead and step on in so that we can check out the interior. I'm gonna try to fire it up. Okay, it does power up. So inside we have a standard 12.3-inch touchscreen display. This has the new Toyota connected infotainment system that we've been seeing on a bunch of their new models. It looks great, I'm gonna be honest. It is a very nice size. We also have some digital gauges here that I believe we can play around with. Let's see if we can customize what's in here. So we have our eco and power gauge on the left, and then we have our speedometer there on the right, because of course this is a hybrid, so we don't really need a tachometer. Although I believe if you change the modes, let's see, now we're entering in sport mode here. Will it give us a tachometer now? Nope, still keeps the eco and power gauge. Infotainment, as I said, we do have a volume knob, which is nice. I like that Toyota didn't get rid of that. No tuning knob or skip forward and backwards or anything like that. We do have heated and ventilated seats up front. We have heated seats in the rear as well. Here is our wireless phone charger. It's really deep and it has these little pincers to make sure that your phone doesn't really roll around in there. You have another little storage spot here. This is kind of perfect for like your keys or whatnot. You can fit a smaller iPhone in there just barely. 2 USB-C ports, no USBs, interestingly, up here. And we do have our cup holders right here. Our drive selector is very similar to what you're gonna get in like a Prius or LC500 as well. Has a shifter just like this as well. We have one of these dual opening armrests that opens both ways. We've got our JBL audio system here, and we have a nice panoramic roof. So you can tell that this is definitely on the premium end of Toyota's lineup for sure. It's definitely a really nice interior in here. We do have a JBL speaker system on this with 11 speakers. 6 speakers is the bass on that XLE trim. Now let's go ahead and check out the engine, because this is a big story here on the Crown. All hybrid drivetrains on the Crown, so there is no gas-only variant. So this is going to be the base hybrid drivetrain. We don't have any power figures on this, but it's a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine, so pretty similar to what you're going to get in like a Camry hybrid, although this is all-wheel drive. It can send up to 100% of the power to the front wheels, or it can split it 20% in the front, 80 to the rear. And like I said, we don't have any power outputs for this drivetrain, but Toyota estimates that it'll get around 38 mpg, making it the much more fuel-efficient option. Or you can upgrade to the hybrid max drivetrain, which is what's under here, and I believe nobody is currently occupying this car. So I can go ahead and pop the hood to show you what this engine looks like. So this is going to be a 2.4-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, and that might look a little bit familiar to you because it's the same engine that they use in the Lexus NX. Now, whereas this hybrid drivetrain is mated to an eCVT direct drive, this turbo version is mated to a 6-speed automatic, similar to the Lexus RX 500 F Sport Performance that we've seen recently. Now, this isn't quite as powerful, but it produces 340 horsepower, so it should be significantly more powerful than whatever power rating we get in this standard hybrid drivetrain. Fuel economy won't be quite as good. It's going to get 28 miles per gallon, but how many other vehicles do you know, like sedan-wise, that have 340 horsepower that can still get nearly 30 mpg? Now, in terms of height, we're sitting at 60.6 inches tall, which is about 4 inches taller than the Toyota Camry. So it is significantly taller than a regular sedan. And we do have a pretty long length, 194 inches long, with a 112.2 inch wheelbase. So this is definitely a full-size sedan, but unlike any that we've ever seen. I really want to know from you guys in the comments, do you like this whole lifted sedan body style, or would you have preferred if Toyota would have just done a conventional SUV or a conventional sedan? Now, the one thing I haven't shown you yet is the trunk, because that is an interesting piece. I'll show you the back seat as well. So the trunk, this is a trunk, not a hatchback. It's actually quite sizable. I like that the opening is very large, very wide. Not a huge fan of the fact that it has these hinges here that take up a little bit of space inside. But as you can see, it is very deep. You have a small opening there to get into the trunk, so you can put some longer items in there as well. But Toyota thinks that the sedan buyers, or at least the people who have left the sedan market, did so because they really wanted the ride height of an SUV. So this kind of bundles that style of the sedan and the practicality of an SUV with all-wheel drive and obviously the lifted ride height. And to show you that wheelbase, I'm going to go ahead and sit in the back seat here. Now this back seat is this front seat is all the way back because it has that memory function. If I slide over here, one position, you'll see a much more comfortable seating position. I have plenty of legroom. That being said, headroom is really not all that great here in the back seat. And it's interesting that Toyota went with this body style because in Japan, there will be 4 different Crown variants. So this is what they're calling the crossover type. There will be a sedan type that sits much lower to the ground, just like a conventional sedan. There will also be an estate type, which is really long, almost sort of like a lifted wagon, like a Subaru Outback. And then there's one called the sport type that looks a little bit more like a conventional crossover. I think the sport type is personally my favorite. Go on Toyota's global website or check out carbuzz.com and you can see pictures of those other vehicles, because I think that sport type would have been the perfect model to bring to the US, but I understand why they didn't bring the sedan type. Let me know in the comments what you think about this kind of lifted sedan body style, because I am really just not quite sure what to think about it. It's such a unique thing. I think the drivetrains look really cool. I think the styling is definitely striking, and there's not quite anything like it out on the road. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell to be alerted of our latest videos. I will be bringing you a full drive of the Toyota Crown later this year. I'll see you next time.